In the year 1965, President Lyndon B. Johnson signed the Hart-Celler Act, also known as the Immigration Act of 1965, which abolished the national origin quotas of 1924. The act has been set as is not a revolutionary bill. It does not affect the lives of millions. It will not reshape the structure of our daily lives or add importantly to either our wealth or our power. A quote by Lyndon B. Johnson. The Immigration Act of 1965 is a preference system that focused on immigrants' skills and family relationships with citizens or U.S. residents. The Immigration Act changed America's society and face. In the year 1965, the Hart-Celler Act abolished the national origin quotas of 1924, which focused on immigrants' skills and family relationships within citizens or U.S. residents. How do you think this act helped the U.S.?
How it did help the United States? Well, that act basically took out the quota system, right? So immigrants were... I think it kind of helped the United States by now you have immigrants that are based more on their skills, right? And then at the same time you have more immigrants coming in, so with their skill set, America can actively select who they want in and out of the country. So if you have a skill that's less or more needed, then they would bring those immigrants. Like in the mid to late 90s, there was a shortage of nurses in America, right? And so America went to the Philippines because the Filipino educational system is very much like the American education. And that's how they were able to get more Filipinos in the United States for basically to satisfy their nursing shortage or their nursing, it's a shortage of nurses, as they say, right? And because of that, there's a lot more Filipinos coming in, and for those people, the immigrants that are trying to get into America, that would be a skill that they would want to do so that they can get into America faster. So it does help America in that way that you get more, immigrants that contribute to the society, more or less, and selectively. You know, I don't know if it helps or hurts, but I think it's more of what America needs, right?
Okay. Due to the Immigration Act, the population in the U.S. increased rapidly. What conflicts do you think this sudden mass population growth caused? If so, what kind?
Well, you have different diverse groups of people coming to America. You're gonna have that anti-immigration, ideology. At the same time, you're gonna have not just one culture coming, but a lot of different cultures coming at the same time. Just like if you look at the 1920s or even the late 1800s, you have different groups of immigrants from different parts coming in, like all over Europe, and then so you're gonna be immigrants don't get along with each other. At the same time, the main population of America, doesn't like them as well because number one is the cultural difference. But then what happens in America is people come here for resources, and so you're gonna have a conflict. Whereas the people that are already in America, that want the resource, are gonna have to fight with the people that don't have a resource, or you're gonna have to fight with the immigrants that also are competing for the same resource. You get what I'm saying? So you have the mass population of America who need the resource, and then you have the immigrants coming in asking for also the same amount of resource, like education, healthcare, welfare, and so you're gonna have a lot of conflicts no matter what, not just with ethnicity or with culture and even religion, but also just economically. They're gonna have to compete for that. So that's the kind of resource you're gonna see, and that's the conflict that normally arises. Throughout history you've seen that, so it's not gonna change.
Okay, many immigrants from communist-controlled countries escaped to the U.S. How do you think the Immigration Act helped those who were trying to escape?
Well, I don't think the Immigration Act kind of helps them escape. It's more the fact that if you are from a country that has a war or something, then you can seek asylum. And communism throughout, the 50s and 60s, and even throughout the late 90s, Cold War ended, but you have communism as an ideology, so that when these immigrants are from communist countries that come over because they seek asylum, America will grant them, as a refugee status. And so that, it helps them in a way. So does it really help America? I don't really think it helps America in any way, just because it's the same as any other immigration. It's just that it more importantly helps those people. Like I'm considered a refugee from a communist country, so in a way that it helps me out. because I was able to come here and get all the stuff I needed. Because if I stayed in Vietnam, I don't think I'll have that kind of education or opportunity that I have if I was in Vietnam instead of America. You know, so I don't think it helps America in any way. It helps more of the immigrant from those countries, right?
Okay, and how do you think the Immigration Act of 1965 helped shape America to what it is today?
To us it is today, as in what?
As in everything, how social and culture.
Because that's an essay question.
Yeah.
But how it shapes America? Well, the Immigration Act 65 really was helpful in that it leads the way for other immigration reform, right? Such as some kind of maybe affirmative action and stuff like that. But you have immigration acts before that have helped shift America. So that act basically solidifies, or I think the Act of 1965 basically, it showed that America was willing to accept immigration as a policy. That's where immigrants are not seen as, you guys are just coming over here, but we have to address the immigrant, I wouldn't say problem, but we have to address the immigrant issue. And that 1965 Act really sets the standard that, okay, the immigrants are here and we have to do something with them, right? As a whole group now, right? And so it's not just that it shaped America, but it's the fact that it's being addressed. Those questions need to be addressed. How much rights do they need or do they have? And what should we offer them? And if and most of the people that are pushing that are immigrants now that were there that are pushing for more immigration reform, Because even though I feel that sometimes people complain that there's not enough things being done to help the immigrant population, but at the same time, I also feel that as an immigrant, you have the resources. I came over here as an immigrant, but at the same time, I use whatever America has given me to get where I am, and I'm pretty sure that Immigration Act of 65 helped me in a way, but instead of keep asking for more stuff, you should use what you have already and get to where you're going. And then if it's not enough, then you ask for more. But you just don't ask for everything all of a sudden without seeing what's out there. Does that make sense in any way? Right?
The Immigration Act changed the face of America, both positively and negatively. It made America the land of opportunity. It was also an escape for those who suffered in their own country. Unfortunately, it also resulted to unemployment and the increase of minority groups being discriminated. Overall, the Immigration Act of 1965 made America a bigger melting pot.